This tutorial will show you how to create a full set of nails with forms using the Vogue 3-step system. For this lesson, we will be using connector, French modeling resin, and sealer. As with every nail procedure, it is essential to prepare the client's nails before sculpting. We recommend a hand sanitizer for the nail technicians as well as the customer's hands. Once the hands have been properly sanitized, select the Vogue cuticle pusher to gently push back the client's cuticles. Switch to a fine grit sponge board or block buffer and buff the nails lightly to remove all shine and oils from the surface. Using a fine to medium grit file, shape the free edge of the nail to an even shape. Use the Vogue dust brush to remove the dust particles from the nail plate and fingers. Use a pad slightly moistened with Prep and Clean to sanitize the nail and remove all remaining oils and dust. Once this is complete, you are ready to begin creating the nail. Take an Vogue form and remove the rounded cutout from the center. If you wish, you can stick this cutout into the underside of the form to make the form stronger and more rigid for sculpting, but this is not required. Carefully place the form under the free edge of your client's nail and center it using the grid as a guideline. It should be pressed as tightly into the space between the nail and the skin as possible to prevent the product from accumulating under the free edge. Once this is done, bend the form to match the curve of the nail and then stick the form in place, angling it so that it acts as an extension of the client's natural nail. This will form the canvas that you will use for sculpting. Place a small amount of connector onto your brush. Apply a very thin layer of connector onto the entirety of the nail surface. It is very important that the connector is applied thinly. The film of applied connector should be so thin that the texture of the nail plate is still visible. And make sure to not get any on the skin. Any product that gets on the cuticle should be removed before curing. After the connector has been applied to all 5 nails, have your client place her hand under the Vogue UV light for a 2-minute cure. Once cured, you can begin to sculpt the nail extensions using French modeling resin. Roll a small amount onto the nail beginning at the natural smile line, keeping the gel brush flat. Move the product side to side along the free edge of the nail and spread it onto the form to the approximate length that your client desires. Uneven curing may occur if the product is too thick on the form. If you have achieved the ideal thickness of the application, the shadow of the grid on the form will still be slightly visible through the resin. Once you have applied the French modeling resin, you should use a clean, dry brush to create a crisp and even smile line. Any bubbles that have occurred can be easily removed with your brush. As well, any product accidentally touching the nail wall or skin must be cleaned up with an orangewood stick. Also, be sure to clean up the nail shape on the form. Now, cure the application under the UV light for 2 minutes. The clear modeling resin will be applied in 2 steps. For the first application, pick up a pea-size amount onto your sculpting brush and roll it gently onto the stress point of the nail. Spread the product in a push and roll motion from the stress point to the end of the French modeling resin. Once covered as shown, cure the nail in the UV light for 2 minutes. Once this is done, apply another layer of clear modeling resin onto the nail. This second coat should be pushed further down to the cuticle to cover the whole nail. While you want to make sure the transition area from the nail plate to the white free edge is well covered, you also want to keep the product thin around the cuticle and the free edge. Cure under the UV light for 2 minutes. At this point, you can now remove the form from the nail. It is now time to shape the nail to perfection. Use your lint-free pad dampened with Prep and Clean to wipe off the dispersion film from the nail. Once you have done this, you can file your client's nails. When shaping is complete, be sure to buff the nail to smoothen the surface. Once you have done this, dust off well using the dust brush and wipe with Prep and Clean once again. Before continuing on to the last stage, make sure that the nail is completely dry and clean. This can usually be seen when the look changes from wet and shiny to dull and white. The final step is to apply sealer to the nail. Using light strokes, apply a slightly thicker layer of sealer to the surface of the nail. If any product accidentally gets onto the skin, be sure to remove it before the 2-minute curing process under the UV light. After curing, a final wipe with Prep and Clean will complete the process and reveal a beautiful set of nails with a high gloss finish. Although not necessary, we also recommend that you treat the nails with Renew and Repair cuticle oil at this point.